so far, and hopefully we'll have something very entertaining, because off we go!
Both players doing a sanctuary start and finding a heart container.
We've got sort of a themed sprites today. We've got a frog and we've got a toad. A toadette, in fact.
Our first map check of the day. I think he forgot he was doing Key Sanity.
So right away, we're having some divergence here. We have iamtheschwarz going up towards the Lost World, followed by the Kakariko check, whereas prdwong is going to be setting up the... is they going to be setting up the Houlihan glitch? Yes, they are.
Yeah, I really like opening, or when players open with the Houlihan, particularly in modes like this, where bombs are not guaranteed, and this will be a good bomb start. But it doesn't matter, because we got the hook shot in Lost Woods.
Hookshot is one of those weapons that is just very impactful there. Not only does it give you an early attacking item, it can also stun, and it also will give you lots of access to various parts of the world.
Yeah, a lot of the early game mobs will actually get one-hit KO'd by the hookshot, such as the bird, the bush crab, and most particularly the mini moldorms.
And right in the Thieves' Hideout there, we've got the big key to Misery Mire. So whenever we do manage to go to Misery Mire, we will be able to get to the end, assuming that we have all the other requirements.
Yeah, Mire's one of those ones that doesn't really require keys, since you can get at least 2 of them just by walking around inside the dungeon.
That's right, you can get to anywhere that you need to, even if it's just more in a roundabout way. But we've got prdwong heading straight up to the Eastern Palace area. Interesting play to make right out of the gate. You can check Sasha's closet, well, which is another 3 chests, but it'll be sort of a duplicated trip once you want to come back here for Eastern Palace. Unless you do the Eastern Palace right now, which would be a bit surprising, to be honest, but not unheard of.
Yeah, I think this is kind of one of the strategies you take at the meta level when you're doing a 1v1. You're trying to guess what your opponent's not going to do and hopefully get lucky off of that. As you said, most players will avoid the Eastern Palace area until they have the Mirror and Dark World access. They can chain EP and Dark Palace together. He was hoping for a lucky item, but didn't find anything, unfortunately, in the closet.
We at least know that Turtle Rock is a green pendant, which is interesting in and of itself. And iamtheschwarz finds a sword in the in Blind's hideout.
Yeah, so that's really the first weapon that's guaranteed to hurt things. The hookshot is good for a lot of early game mobs, but the sword is really what you need for people like Blind or for Mothula access later on.
Alright, but prdwong is going into Eastern Palace with no attacking items whatsoever. Meanwhile, iamtheschwarz finds the flute inside the well.
Yeah, I think iamtheschwarz has the route here. I don't really agree with what prdwong is doing. You can, funnily enough, get all the way to all the chests in front of the big key door without any weapons, but I don't think this is a good call.
And not only do they find the flute inside the rest of Kakariko, iamtheschwarz finds the hammer.
Yeah, that's a really good early game item, especially because it does tempered sword damage to most every enemy in the game.
That will one-shot pretty much everything here, and with the flute, iamtheschwarz gets a very, very good mobility, and unlocks Death Mountain this way. You can go straight up to Death Mountain without having to worry about any dark rooms, and with that hookshot, we can get another 7 items in Paradox Cave.
Yeah, Paradox Cave is really where you want to get to in the early game. It has probably the most items in the first few bits of the game. There's Mini Moldorm Cave, and there's also Hype Cave, but more often than not, those are going to be full of junk.
Pretty much. It is definitely one of the most chest-heavy areas outside of just Kakariko itself.
prdwong finding a hint that the big key for Pod is going to be inside a Spectacle Rock, and Schwarz is just going to find that by virtue of having the flute and hookshot.
Indeed. It looks like prdwong is going to be routing it through the dark rooms. This is technically out of logic in the fact that the game's way of preventing you from locking or soft locking yourself through progression is not going to require you to do this, but it still can get you some of the stuff easily enough if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, these dark rooms are especially hard if you don't have some sort of item like the boomerang or especially the sword. And so it really speaks to prdwong's skill that he can do it without any sort of marker on the screen.
Indeed, it takes a little bit there, and we see that the lamp is in the race game.
Yep, that's something you want just for the fire ability. The ability to go through dark rooms now is nice, but these runners don't need to begin with.
But being able to light torches is something that's actually strictly required in many instances.
Especially if the fire rod is locked behind the lantern somehow.
It's entirely possible. But prdwong doesn't find anything in Eastern Palace there, and is going to be going through the standard Lost Woods and the Kakariko check. So they're going to be a bit behind iamtheschwarz, but we are still early on and anything can happen.
Yeah, really the biggest advantage Schwarz gets out of this is that flute mobility that prdwong did not have for a full 6 minutes.
That is correct. So we are going to have to see where the game wants us to go right now. I mean, hammer and flute says the Death Mountain to me, but we don't have confirmation that our next step of progression is right there, although it seems very likely, in my opinion.
Yeah, and even if there's no progression up here, they can, Schwarz can go ahead and just do Tower of Hera. So even if he finds nothing up here, at least he gets another crystal end slash or pendant.
That is correct. You can get to Tower of Hera the long way, but we don't have any keys to get into the basement, so we can only check the first 2 chests, and we don't have any of the big key to get up to the upper floors.
Yep, this is very true. We're in Key Sanity. Momentarily forgot about that.
And on top of Spectacle Rock, we just have a piece of heart, but we know that there is something inside of Spectacle Rock, and a hint tile, which is always worth it.
Unless, it just says, go to the next room, or joke hints.
Well, this is true there, but then you at least get some entertainment out of it.
Oh, we find where the boots are. That's a good hint.
That is a very good hit indeed there. Though the seed may not strictly require it unless there's something torch locked or locked on a torch or other bonkable location. It is definitely a mobility item and also gets you a lot more ease of travel around the world.
Yeah, going fast is always better than going slow. Nobody wants to walk around like a peasant.
When you can Pegasus stride through the grass, through everything else.
And especially some of the glitches you get to do with the chest and the big red bomb really help to have the boots with those.
Alright, looks like we've caught up with iamtheschwarz. We are in Paradox Cave as we expected. Gonna be seeing what's inside very shortly. We've got some bombs, we've got some arrows, just some junk at the present moment, but the real treasure trove is the 5 chests up top.
I mean, that's why the mini Moldorms are guarding those ones. That's where the real action is. He gets a twofer with that second bomb.
Small Keys Ice Palace is logically required, but most runners know how to do the Ice Palace bomb jump and can get past it pretty easily without using any keys.
Finding another small key for Pod. There are 6 of those floating around the map right now, so finding them 2 of them early on isn't really that surprising.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of them, and that there are 5. There are a lot of items in Palace of Darkness, period, including the item locations. You have the 6 keys, 5 items, and plus the dungeon item chests as well, which are now could be something else.
Yeah, so a total of 14 chests hanging out in Pod, and since this is Key Sanity, it's not locked just to being those dungeon items. We could have all 14 chests having progression, though that statistically that is very unlikely.
That is true, and during this trek up at Death Mountain, we are going to check out Hera, as we speculated. Can't really get into much right now, but that is still 2 chests while we are here. No sense in leaving them behind.
Yeah, 2 chests and another hint.
But the hint is bogus.
Yep, I was about to say, but that's not bogus.
We have the mirror, folks, here. That is another... Definitely will open up a lot of locations, and also will unlock Swamp Palace once we get the other items required for it.
Yeah, that's a handy item to have early on. Now we can fix our routing up to do things more smoothly. Without the mirror, we have to do a lot of double backing.
That's right there. Normally you would have to just save and quit to get out from the Dark World back to the Light World. But with the mirror, we now can do that a lot easier.
Ooh,
oh, and prdwong is stuck by a dead rock. Dead rock with boulders raining down from above, so hopefully he won't become literally dead rocked as well.
Don't you just hate it when that happens? Ether Medallion. Handy, maybe, later on, but for now, it's just another little circle to have.
It's Schrodinger's medallion. Will we need it? Will we know? Won't? Nobody knows. Ooh, and Schwartz gets hit by a boulder as it is flying away. Thankfully, it doesn't let go of the dock. Not that that can actually happen, but it would be amusing or so. But cheap damage on the fly. Ooh, and iamtheschwarz finds the big key to Ganon's tower inside of the dam.
That's a big one.
That literally could be anywhere in the world, and it's a great way to have off these runners' minds.
Though on the flip side of that, you always kind of want it to be in a weird spot, so you can find it before your opponent. Where it is right now, both of them are going to find it, so that's not going to... they know that their opponent's going to also find it.
It's one of the standard overworld clears. You are not going to not want to check it.
Even if they put it off for a long time, by the time they get to the swamp, they're going to find it. Additionally, inside of the key sanity variations, one of the hint tiles guarantees that it'll tell you the location of the big key to Ganon's tower.
So that's one hint tile out of play as for being potentially useful, but still, you're glad to have it in your pocket regardless.
There's a moon pearl.
That's another piece of Dark World access there. No more being a bunny for us. We are just a pair of gloves away from Dark World access.
Additionally, he's only 90 rupees away from having the Zora money. If he gets that, that'd be worth his time to go set up a water walk and go take care of that stuff.
Possibly, and check out some of the other flipper locked locations while we're at it. But right now we're going to be using that flute to get an easy check of Ice Rod Cave, one of those out-of-the-way caves that you normally don't want to have to visit unless you have to, just because it's so far away from everything else.
Yeah, especially because we are still on Green Mill, we only have 5 hearts. Those crabs do 2 hearts of damage, and so giving the flute lets us skip most of that route.
But we were rewarded with a big key to Desert Palace, an interesting thing, because that means that once we find a way to get inside of Desert Palace, be it the book or Dark World access, Titan's Myths, and well, the mirror that we already have to get in the back door, that means that, yeah, Desert Palace should be completable once we get... and even if we don't have to check the front half. Now,
as it is, the runners don't want to do lane mode with just the fighter sword. That's a pretty ugly fight. We don't want to have that vanilla one. We want the fire rod or the silvers. Oh, with the hammer, that's true.
All right, looks like the Schwarz is heading up for... Looks like they're going to escape.
Yeah, he's kind of already checked out everything else. This is, unlike prdwong, he's gonna avoid EP until he can do pod with it. And so this is not surprising that he wants to go over here first.
This is true, and this is not an uncultured seed, so the uncle has something on him, but it may or may not be a sword. Most likely not.
Just a little bit of love from our uncle.
Well, it's either that or you just ripped out his heart Mortal Kombat style.
You know, let's not think about it too hard.
I agree. Let's just keep this the happy adventure that we've got going on so far. But we've cleared pretty much most of the overall checks right now. We can't go further in here. prdwong's already shown us that Eastern Palace is pretty much a bust without the keys to move forward, or the big key to move forward. So we're pretty much stuck right here in the escape sequence to find anything particularly useful.
Yeah, progression, there's got to be some sort of progression, whether it's a Castle Tower key, whether it's a Hyrule Castle key. There's got to be something here.
We've already found one Castle Tower key, if I'm not mistaken, but we don't have a way to get through the bat barrier. So, ooh, a Bombos Medallion. Interesting.
Yeah, one of those things that isn't immediately useful, but might come in handy later. Bombos especially is useful for the Ice Palace stuff.
It will allow you to save a lot of magic in the Cold Stare fight, just to being able to break open the crystal with one shot, rather than pretty much draining your entire magic bar on fire rod shots.
And then on top of that, we get to... Hopefully we'll have a better sword by then, but Cold Stare hammer fights are not pretty. So we want to conserve that magic to use that fire rod for its maximum value.
All right, but looks like we have a little bit of a convergence here in that prdwong is heading right into the escape sequence as well, having been following in Schwarz's footsteps this entire time, pretty much at the same items, maybe minus a few keys here and there. But it's the overall time difference is not as heavy as you would think.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about Randomizer, is that our guys can take wildly different routes, but then they converge like this. They're going to do high five.
Yep, that's right there. Schwarz is heading right up to the sewer section, whereas prdwong is just walking in the front door right now. So about a minute at most between the two, if you can even call it that. But we did find a Turtle Rock key in Escape as well. We can't really get to Turtle Rock right now to enter it, but there are 4 keys in Turtle Rock there, and 3 are required to get to the boss. 4 if you want. All 4 are required if you want to full clear the dungeon.
Yeah, and with the all dungeons variants, there can be some real nasty GT shenanigans going on. We could go all the way to Laser Bridge and then have to go inside of Ganon's tower in order to get the last key, since TR is a pendant dungeon.
And Schwarz finds the cape inside of the Dark Cross room inside of the escape sequence, and immediately just jets out, sees a key on the Desert Legend, is heading over to Agina. The cape sort of hints to me that Aga 1 might be a thing after all.
Yeah, I see a cape, I have a fighter sword, I got a lamp. There's some pretty bold writing on the wall there.
We only have one Aga 1 key right at the moment, so either we have to like partially dip the tower, or perhaps we have to keep looking for that second Castle Tower key.
It's kind of looking like there might be something in that very first chest. But we can also check the second chest since we do have one small key.
We won't be able to get to the third, though.
Schwarz heading over to Eastern Palace. Unfortunately, he's not going to find anything. So after this, our run is going to be pretty much space for space. They've been everywhere where the other has been.
This actually might give prdwong the edge that he needs, assuming that if he decides to go directly to Castle Tower to check out what's inside, even though he can't full clear it with just one key.
You know, I'm thinking that's what he's gonna do, because unless he wants to leave to go check the Desert Palace area and then come right back, there's not much else he can do.
And I believe we did not get the key to go into the back of Escape, did we?
I don't believe so. If he's leaving, he wants to go check some other places out. No, wait! It was a debate!
It looks like we're heading up to the ramparts. We are going to pay a visit to Old Aga, although we won't be knocking on his door today. We'll be caping past the door today.
Thieves in the night. And just like that, prdwong is going to take a slight lead here in front of Schwarz.
Chat brings up a good point that I don't think prdwong has done the South Shore clear, but I don't remember what was in it that was potentially valuable.
There was a big key inside of the Ice Palace, or the Ice Rod Cave. But besides that, that's really it. Ooh, no pearls. Well, that pearl was in the mini Moldorm Cave.
Oh, that's
Thanks,
right.
chat.
Thankfully, we won't need it just yet until we find that gloves. Speaking of, here are the gloves.
Commentator's blessing? Question mark?
Well, we were running out of locations for things to be, so it was more of prescience, maybe? I don't know. But saving and quitting right to the graveyard, we can check out the back of Escape now and seeing what are in those 3 chests. And then probably prdwong will go and do the South Shore clear, get that Moon Pearl, and have their Dark World access.
Yeah, since we know where the Moon Pearl is, I don't imagine that we're going to find anything here to get him off track.
I get another Palace of Darkness key, so that's always nice, but not exactly what they're looking for. So nothing groundbreaking here. We got a hint tile that we already saw, so just going to be doing some more clearing swaps, if you will.
Oh, the pearl was in the dam, not inside of the, No, sorry, the Ganon Tower Bicky was in here. Never mind, I'm confusing myself.
Now, Schwarz does have the lamp, so it'll make clearing these dark rooms a bit easier, but for runners of this caliber, it was never all that hard in the first place.
Yeah, really the biggest danger was that the anti-fairy was going to steal some magic, knock off a heart or two, but it wasn't really going to kill any time off their run.
All right, so prdwong is going to be finishing up the South Shore clear, going to be getting that Moon Pearl pretty shortly.
Yeah, once he finds that, do you think he's going to take the time to go over to the Ice Rod Cave?
Maybe. It's tempting there, but you also just want to finish up everything while you're over here, too.
Yeah, if he didn't have the flute, I think he would go ahead and finish it. But with that flute, you can kind of tell yourself, I'll come back later. But in this case, we'd rather have that sooner than later.
All right, so now that we get into Dark World, we'll want to do the Dark World over, well, once we get into there in the first place. But where would you go after you get into the Dark World?
Well, they do have one Thieves Town small key. It doesn't really help until they find the big key for that. But I would probably head into the Skull Woods Thieves Town combo.
If Inverted has told us anything, it's that Skull Woods and Thieves Town are pretty free early on.
Chet also pointing out that Perd has Zora money and access.
Ooh, we got the Desert Palace big key that Schwarz already found, so that puts him on track there. So no key left behind. So onward we go to the Dark World.
Crab takes a bite out of him first.
Nom 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 nom.
And looks like he's gonna set up. Oh, he's gonna go visit Zora first.
We got over 600 rupees, not a bad thing to do.
With the Moon Pearl, he's also gonna be able to water walk outside of the Waterfall of Wishing.
We just do set up our swimming through stone there so we can get inside the waterfall cave. And inside, we got a heart and a bottle. Nothing terribly interesting.
Definitely not the worst thing we could find, though.
That is one agitated bee.
And we get another one. A bee for a bee. To be or not to be?
That is the question. To suffer the slings of arrows of angry bees, or by throwing the bottle into the pool to get another one.
Let's see. Perd saw a small key on the Zora ledge. That probably won't matter too much unless it's the Swamp Palace small key. Meanwhile, Schwarz popped back up, and he has indeed headed over to the Skullwoods Thieves Town combo.
That's a pretty safe bet for if you don't know exactly where to go in the Dark World. There's plenty of stuff in the Overworld. There's plenty of stuff in Thieves Town and Skullwoods. So, until we get a bit more of a definitive direction on where to go next, that's always a good thing to check.
Yeah, that's a really good point. These items aren't really telling me to go anywhere right now. All I'm seeing is that we have open locations, we can roll the dice, throw a dart at the dartboard, and go that direction. These items don't really give us any good indication.
Now, we still don't have the Titansmiths, so if we're going over to that area, we have to go around the long way.
Looks like he wants to check some item-dense locations. He wants to probably do a Hype Cave, and then with all these pod keys, he might dip over there real quick.
Hype Cave does have 5 items inside. So you definitely want to check that there. It's one of the first places you check it in inverted mode, actually. But we have here, we've got the flippers from the fox.
10 arrows. A compass. A little bit of love. And the single... Okay, no, that doesn't matter. So a little bit of hype.
The flippers now puts whatever you found so far using that water walking glitch into logic, but that was a bunch of trash and not much else, so no big deal there.
The one thing we did not check was the hobo. There could have been something important on there we didn't find with the fake flipper glitch. Now,
one thing is that prdwong at this point can't even really get into Palace of Darkness just yet because he does not have enough money. A good thing that chat pointed out.
Oh yeah, he needs probably about another 40 rupees. No, sorry, 30 rupees. And Alec Baldwin charges 85 rupees to play his digging game. So he's gonna have to make a choice here. He's already used his Houlihan.
That is correct. And as chat points out there, that single arrow is useful for one thing and one thing only, aside from shooting it, in that it is considered a unique item. So any hints that refer to unique items, now that is out of play.
Well, that's a good point. So we won't get played by that, at least.
We can still get trolled by plenty of other things, like the boomerangs or shovels or mushrooms, but not the single arrow.
Shields. And it looks like Perd is going to want to spend... Well, he's 1 rupee short. No, sorry, it's 80 rupees, not 85.
That is a lucky digging game. We get the big key to Hera right out of the gate. And I'm so surprised, a little bit surprised he didn't spend the rest of the time grinding rupees in the digging game, because you can get a decent amount of money back that way.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. Oh no, he wants to go play the archer game instead. This has gotten much more popular since Inverted has come out.
If you're pretty skilled at it, you can rack up a good, what, 132 rupees or so?
Yeah, real quick. It's a good thing to do. And just like that, there's our Kiki money. Who needs a Houlihan when you can just shoot things?
Yep, that's right there. You don't have to have a small mirror bonk there, but no big deal. Yeah, the air game, as you said, has gotten a lot more popular over the days. So let's see where prdwong decides to go next.
Yep, if he collected rupees, he wants to go check out Pod.
Now we don't have the bow yet, so we can only check out part of the Palace of Darkness there. So we don't know really what else is in store, but we can clear out a good bit of it. And we do.
Yeah,
have
there's really only two. Yeah, there's really only two chests we don't have access to with us without the bow. We have 3 keys. That's going to get us into a good bit of it.
All right. So, yep, we get picking up Kiki. We're heading up to the Palace of Darkness. We still have the money to pay the monkey. Gotta pay the monkey.
Chat's pointing out, though, Perd can bottle glitch through the bow area. He doesn't actually need it, since he has the hammer to get to the hammer pegs.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see if they make use of that or not.
Yeah, I think that's why he actually bought that bottle earlier. I wasn't quite sure why he was buying a green potion. And Schwartz is back!
Or is he?
Momentarily. No, that's another debate.
Alright, so we're headed over towards this section of a Palace of Darkness. We may be setting up that bottle glitch after all, like you were mentioning. Piece of Heart requires a bomb. Thank you, game. That is so helpful.
Jeez, it's not like there's a million of those bomb treasures. I mean, that even covers places like the Graveyard Ledge.
Alright, yep, we did set up that bottle glitch, managed to get all those mimics off screen at the same time, so fooled the game into opening the door. Clearly, if you it has no item object permanency in its mind, so that if it does, you can't see it, it clearly doesn't exist.
Makes sense to me. One of the neat things about getting the compasses inside of the key sanity variations is that it'll keep track of how many chests we've checked for us. We don't have to keep track ourselves.
That's always nice there, and so you can't really abandon a chest without knowing it.
Which is really easy if you're switching back and forth between key sanity and regular seeds. Because sometimes you think, oh, in Pod, I'll have to open 5 chests or get 5 items. Nope, there are potentially 14 items in here.
That is correct. I didn't find the bug net, which is interesting, but not what we were hoping for. You can now catch fairies, so that's something, I guess.
Yeah, but without the powder, we can't make our own. And who wants to eat store-bought fairies? Setting up for a hammer yump. He will not be wasting his keys today.
That doesn't set it up just right, but a quick reset will fix that. It gets another bomb from the skull there.
Oh,
Big key to Eastern Palace. That's what you want to see, ladies and gents.
this is a good chain.
Yeah, you have to get the big key to Eastern Palace. I was like, well, I'm here already in a different dimension, but I'm here.
Now, unfortunately, the only thing you can do now is check the big chest. And unless the bow is in there and we have like a god chain, it's not going to really matter at this exact moment.
I think we can still... Have we checked the dark basement yet in the U-shaped room?
We have not. We're about to, though.
Alright, and we can also check the... We still have one key left for the Harmless Hellway as well. So that'll be something useful.
Boots!
We did get that hint that boots were somewhere inside of the Palace of Darkness. Still can't get out... Oh, we're leaving the Hellway? Looks like we are, okay.
See you later. He found his unique item. He wants to go spend this big key, maybe? Nope, he's gonna flute out.
Alright, so let's see where he decides to go next. Looks like we're heading towards the...
Hobo, it looks like.
Yeah, no one's checked that one out just yet, I don't think. We've got just a compass on the Lake Hylia Island, so nothing interesting there today. Alright, inside the hobo's knapsack, we have got some... we've got the bow!
Oh,
Routing Y. Routing Y.
On the one hand, why? On the other hand, we can complete 2 dungeons now. So, you know, you win some, you lose some.
I can feel prdwong rolling his eyes from here.
Yeah, that's just the nature of Randomizer. Sometimes you get these god routes and nothing can stop you. Other times you do all these things to get to the very end to find the fast item.
Okay, I have to highlight this one pun that I just saw in chat there. You could say that this was a hobo.
Oh, nice chat.
Chat is inspired by the pun masters of old.
I want to be chat when I grow up.
Alright, so now we have that hair big key. Looks like prdwong is like saying, I've had enough of Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness right now. I want to go to Hera instead. And we still have... Oh, neglects the piece of heart there, but it's not going to be the end of the world. We still have got plenty of those all throughout the world.
Now, this could come back to bite him later. If there turns out to be an important item in the basement here, and Schwartz comes by and gets it in one trip, whereas Perd will have to come back for a second trip if there is something down there. In which case, I don't know when he's going to come back for it.
This is true there, but in an all dungeon seed, if you've got the Hera big key, you're going to want to knock that out whenever you can fit it in.
There are some bombs in Swamp Palace. Who'd have guessed?
Don't have the decency to tell us where in the Swamp Palace it is. If we can knock out the left side, that'd be interesting, like some hints do. But no, we just have like some bombs are in the Swamp Palace.
See, you're asking for a lot there, and the sea just isn't that kind. Purdy gets a nice clip set up with the boots. Just skips right through that bumper.
And we are on the Moldorm, who I bet set up that hint for us just to troll us.
That's 2. And no trolls today.
Mr. Googly Eyes goes down, and on his corpse we have a, well, a all heart container. That's nothing to sneeze at. But the crystal is very interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of just eating hearts today. We ate our uncle's heart, now we're eating Moldorm's heart. I'm not quite comfortable with where Pert is taking this seed.
This is Indiana Toadette, Raiders of the Lost Dungeons.
Coming to stores near you. Alright, looks like he wants to head up to, I imagine he's going to go Skull Woods, and then maybe he'll check out Bumper Cave after that.
Possibly. That's looking what they're going to. I don't believe from the brief time that we saw Schwarz in the Skull Woods that there was anything in there, but...
There's only one way to find out. And this will also be Pert's first opportunity to actually go inside a Thieves' Town. There are 4 free chests in there, and there can be any amount of progression inside of it.
Yep, 4 is a decent number of chests in any small location.
Ooh.
Well, there's our second castle tower key, so now we have access to Aga 1 for whenever we feel like routing that in. Most often you see that routed in at the end of the siege, so you can just do Ganon's tower and castle tower back to back.
Now, at the end of the day, I don't think that makes too much of a difference. When you gotta do it, you just gotta do it at some point.
Hey, come go and visit Uncle Aghanim. We got a lot of funds, kiddo, there, but I don't want to. You have to do it anyway. Too bad, kid.
That's exactly how I imagine Aghanim sounding like. And no King of Samara, so we gotta do this the old-fashioned way. Dodging Gyptos and then dying to them.
Pretty much, Gyptos hurt, and that Wallmaster just does that.
Gonna take away half your hearts and then make you do it all over again.
Alright, manages to lock out the Gyptos just fine and gets into the room. He has to play dodgeball with all the other enemies there, but we should be able to get it just fine. Getting a piece of heart for our trouble. Mirroring back out. And onward, we are going to explore these woods of skulls.
Yep, he's gonna go check out Bumper Cave first.
Yeah, with no fire either, can't really do much else inside of Skull Woods. So at least we can check Bumper Cave from the outside. I don't think we've even checked Lumberjack Cave, or we checked out Lumberjack Cave, but I didn't get a good look at what it was.
It was a heart container piece, if I remember correctly.
And not the end of the world, so nothing really world-shattering there. We're going to get another look at it from prdwong's side. And nope, just a compass, nope. Actually.
That's a compass. That must have been some other suit I was watching. I've watched a lot today.
Well, when it's not important, it's not important. So onward we go. I'm imagining prdwong is going to go right to Thieves' Town to continue the Dark World Clearfest.
Or not. He's going to go check out Bumper Cave? No, sorry. Bonk Cave plus Graveyard Ledge?
Graveyard Ledge. Yeah, it looks like Graveyard Ledge. Can't do King's Tomb just yet, but...
Or, yes, he can. He's not going to play by your rules.
For some reason, I keep thinking that it requires Titansmiths, but maybe I'm mistaking it for something else. Oh, is it Titansmiths and boots, or just Titansmiths?
Just boots, if you have the mirror. And he gets some bombs for his trouble.
Oh, that's right. Titans to lift the rocks here, but you can just need boots to get to the location itself. That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, so I actually really like this, because if there's something here, he's going to get it earlier. If there's nothing here, he's going to be thinking about it the entire seed. If there's a time to do it, it's at the same time you do Bumper Cave and the Lumberjack Ledge.
Pretty much. So let's see what lies inside. We just got bombs. We just got bombs from the pot, so why get more? We're already good on bombs. No bombs today, thank you.
Come on, Bonk Rocks. Let's make it a 9 bomb. Or he's going... No, he's going back that way, okay.
For some reason, I think we already did Bonk Rocks, but I could be mixing that up.
I would be rather surprised if he already did Bonk. No, wait, am I misremembering that? Chat,
Possibly,
help me.
But we are going over towards Catfish by the looks of it. Getting all these northeastern Dark World areas checked off while we can, because if there's something orphaned here, it's going to be a long way just before you get back to it. Now, what's your favorite thing to throw at the catfish in there? A skull, a bush, or the sign?
100% the skull. Something very, it feels good to throw somebody's skull into the water instead of just a bush. It sends a message, you know.
Hey, did you see your welcome sign around here? No, it was your friend's skull.
Looks like he's coming back this way for the small key. Not sure which one it is, but could be useful.
You're in the area, so why not? Now, I believe someone pointed out that all the bottles that we found so far have all contained bees.
Vitorp is watching. That's what that means. And it's another pod key.
Pod keys are good. Pod keys are good.
Yeah, since he's already been in there, though, it's going to be a while before we see that key being used.
Yeah, possibly here, but let's see. We have the flippers in the mirror, so we can get into the Swamp Palace and the Hookshot to finish it. Skullwoods is locked out at the moment. Thieves' Town, you can do whatever you feel like. Ice Palace, you'd rather have the fire rod, to be honest, but you can do it with bombos. Mystery Mire, we don't know yet, and Turtle Rock, we don't know yet what we need to enter with.
Chances are good that we have at least one of the medallions, but, you know, depending on your luck for that night, they both might require the Quack Medallion.
Oh, that Murderdaxel just won't give up.
And those guys hurt when you only have green mail.
That's right, we have not found any mail so far, and down the Murderdactyl goes. Teaches you to mess with the Link. Or
yeah,
the
those suckers
case.
will do 4 hearts of damage. Yeah, Bird wants to preserve his keys. Because as it is, I think he's only missing... He's found 5 pod keys? 4 pod keys.
He had 3 going in the first time, and he's picked up 1 more, so that's 4. So, well, I think we can full clear it with 4 if you route it efficiently and hammer Yump like we did. Or like Birdwong did, I should say.
Yes, we were there for that. Oh, and that would be correct, but he did end up using that key instead of mirroring out after that 3rd chest in the Dark Maze.
Ooh, you're correct with that. Can we still get the Helmosaur now? Or are we going to have to orphan a chest?
I think he'll have to... No, I think he's good. He can go do the ledge chest, jump down, and then he'll still have the 1 key left over. Or jump down first.
We haven't seen what's in the... Ooh, but in this chest we found the big key to Thieves' Town, so that's a good decision to hold off until now, because now we can check that extra chest, and if something's inside of it, that saves a lot of time.
If I remember correctly, Perd already found the other small key to Thieves Town, so he can go ahead and full clear it whenever he's done there, or done here.
So, alright, so we can get to the Harmless Hellway. I believe that requires 1 key, and 1 key to get to a Helmosaur, or is it 2?
Just 1. So chat's right, we will have to orphan 1 chest if we want to do Helmosaur right now. Which, as a runner, if you do that, you're going to be thinking about that chest for the rest of the game.
Pretty much there. Is it there? Is it not there? You'll never know, and you don't want to go back for just 1 chest. And it's sort of a 50-50 chance of whether you want to pick the Harmless Hellway chest, or if you want to choose the Ledge chest. And we go for the Harmless Hellway chest out of the 2, since it's pretty much on... Ooh, these hard hat beetles are giving quite the beatdown.
Yeah, he'll be able to do a nice little pick-me-up right here with 3 hearts. But looks like he's going to choose to orphan that... what is that called? The arena chest, or is that the ledge chest we call that?
Not sure, but we know which one we're talking about. The one that's overlooking the arena.
So, fingers crossed. Hopefully we don't have a fire rod in there. Or what else could be in there? A sword upgrade. Titan's mitts. Silvers.
Book to get it. Well, no, we can get to desert then through the back door. We don't really need the book unless there's something on a tablet or the pedestal.
You know, since they are doing all dungeons, I kind of want there to be an important item on the pedestal. And I always want it to be a vanilla Master Sword, but that doesn't happen hardly at all.
Pretty much. You do need Master or above to defeat Ganon, but it's with just Master Sword, it becomes a bit painful to do it that way. Alright, so prdwong clears the turtle room there, smashes, plays Skull Smash just fine. And onward to Helmosaur King we go. We're going up the walkway, and it is time to play Whack-A-Mask.
17 hits are required to knock off the mask, and after that, he's probably going to use the hammer. It's got a kind of a small hitbox, and actually, can you use the hammer to finish him off?
I don't recall off the top of my head there. It looks like they're going for just sword pokes with a fighter sword.
No, no. I think he's using the hammer. Yep, there it is. But he was using the sword for positioning. And then he gets a compass out of it.
Helmosaur King can now tell where he is.
Chat asking if Schwarz forfeited. No, he did not, but he is MIA right now.
On the other hand, we do now have the unique experience from a commentator's point of view to see what it is looks like from a racer's point of view. That is being completely in the dark where the other runner is. Is he ahead of us? Is he behind us? We don't know.
We'll find out together.
So the nice thing is that we already cleared out most of the junk in here. So we can go straight on word to the Armos Knights and the call it a day.
Now, there have been quite a number of Randomizer races so far in the tournaments. And one of my favorite things, I don't think I've seen it yet, but you can kill off Armos with a boomerang. It takes a heck of a long time, but it is possible.
I think I've seen that once, and it was hilarious. I loved it.
This is one of the rooms where the lamp is really nice. Like, you can do this fairly easily in the dark, but if it gets out of hand, then you have to reset. And resetting is quite a bit harder when you can't see where you're going.
Pretty much, yeah. And those being swarmed by those, I'm not sure what they're called, the ropey things.
I just call them creepy crawlies.
The Tangela wannabes.
There it is.
Alright, so into the Armorless Knights we go. We just have the standard bow, but that will still make quick work of the Knights. Gonna play Shooting Gallery here. Haven't missed a shot yet. Gonna be pinning them against the wall.
Ooh, miss once. That's okay, it only takes 18 arrows. But we find some more bombs.
Bombs, bombs, more bombs! Eee!
So here's my question. Where are we going next? Where is Purd taking us?
If you ask me, since this is all dungeons, I would go to Desert Palace next, because we know that we can full clear that, or at least finish the boss. I'm not sure, we don't have the key to get into the right side in those two chests, but we can definitely check out the two chests on the torch and in the northern room there, and finish off Lamellus themselves.
I don't think we can do that without Titan's Mitts, but it looks like Purd is gonna go towards Thieves Town now.
Yeah, Thieves Town is not a bad play either, because you can get those four free chests in the front. We have the big key, so now we can progress to the back, and we've got this key and hammer to get at the big key chest itself.
Yeah, I think we can full clear this right now, so it's going to be a one and done sort of deal. And actually, I don't think Purd's done any of Village of Outcasts.
Ooh, I believe you're right, and although we don't have the Titan Smiths to do Smith's Chain, we can still check out a bunch of things, but we find a fire rod inside of the chess game. And we are right next door to Skullwoods as well.
So this is going to be two more easy peasy chests, or easy peasy crystals.
That is correct. And it's got to be weighing on his mind. Did Schwarz check out the chess game before dipping Skullwoods? I mean, it's not the biggest time loss in the world, but...
Right, and speaking of your Desert Palace idea, we now have the small key to that dungeon.
So that saves us another return trip to the desert, in case we want to find out what's in that last two chests, and now we can. But let's see, we've gotten two chests here so far, 50 rupees in the third. We're going to be checking out the last one where the big key normally is, and indeed, I believe... Oh, no, we already found the big key. We instead find a small key.
To Ganon's Tower. That's pretty good. We don't have to search for those, but normally you'll find those along the way anyways.
You don't really generally need that many of them in the first place, so but it's always nice to have.
Well, really, that's just the only one we need, and then you can get the second one off the mini Helmosaur.
Pretty much, yeah. Alright, now we've got 12 hearts, but we still have green mail, so all these enemies in Dark World are going to be chunking us for pretty hefty damage. And this room in particular is no joke either, because there's so many enemies in such a small space, but prdwong navigates them beautifully, only losing 2 hearts out of the deal.
Yep, and since V30 came out, most players will go check out this hint, and it's a good one. Something
unique is in Mimic Cave here. That can be a number of items We don't know what it is, but when we do get to Turtle Rock, we are definitely not skipping that unless we are already in go mode. Or at least item go mode.
Yeah, we know it's not a sword because those are always called something sharp. And so it could be the Cane of Samaria, could be the Ice Rod, but it could also be a boomerang.
It could be Magic Powder, it could be Mushroom, it could be Book, of all things.
Yep, it could be the last piece of the puzzle, or it could just be some more crap.
What's in Mimic Cave? Do you want to check door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3? Are we getting a Zonk today?
Chat pointing out that it cannot be Cane of Samaria. Yes, my apologies. That was just more of a hypothetical than anything.
Alright, we're heading down into the basement of Thieves' Town. We're going to be checking out that big chest while we're here, most likely on the way out after we pick up the Maiden, just for efficient routing. And dealing with these inconveniently placed guards. Another heart piece, not a bad thing to have.
Yeah, at this point, most runners are going to aim for 10 or 11 hearts, but we have 13 now. If they find one on the grounds, they're probably going to skip it just to save that extra 2 seconds.
Small key to Skullwood, something we don't really need at this point, but it's a good thing to have. Now, one thing that's always been interesting there, when you dash with a follower, the follower dashes along behind you. Does that mean that they also have Pegasus boots, or we're just dragging them by the wrist?
Hey now, that's a good point. Why do they get the free boots? Where are our free boots?
I want free boots.
It's a time for our scripted fights. Blind is hands down the easiest boss to fight. It takes 9 hits. You can do it the same time same way every time, and you can do it without getting hit.
And it's just 9 hits no matter what kind of weapon you have. So it's as long as you can remember, and he goes in pretty much a set pattern every time. So as long as you know the dance steps, you can dance right along.
You can use a hammer, you can use a Cane of Samaria, you can use a sword. Anyways, he finds the Quack Medallion on top of Blind, so we no longer have to worry about those.
No matter what the medallion requirements are, we have them. And we found the Titan's Myth inside of C-shaped house.
Village of Outcasts is loaded.
Oh, we know they've been outcasting all their good items to these chests, that's for sure.
Titan's Myths in Thieves' Town, we got the Fire Rod and the chest game. Oof, holy moly. And a big tool. No, that doesn't matter.
It's red and it's shiny. But that's a good pickup there, because we were already in Village of Outcasts, so we can go right down here and pay Mr. Froggy a visit if we so desire.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that he's not going to do Skullwoods right now.
A little bit, yeah, we have the Fire Rod, and the rest of Skullwoods is pretty simple to do. But those Titan's bits are bright gold and shiny, so I don't blame him for making use of them right away.
Yeah, regardless of when he does Skullwoods, it's not going to be out of his way since he can just flute back here at any time. Probably what's going through his mind is that he wants to follow the items he's found and follow them right to the Book of Medora.
It's more of a little more than a fetch quest item at this point there, because we already could get into Desert via the back door. But even so, it's a good thing to have in case something is on one of those tablets. And what brand of smiths do we have today? Today they're smithing up some arrows. We've got some Fletchers.
Some good old-fashioned vampire skewers.
Some shish kebabs for the big pig. Well, not really. They're not silver, but we're going to get the shiny ones later. Hopefully.
Slowly working our way up there. Ooh, that
All
chest
right.
placement makes me nervous.
Oh, that's right. There is a sword upgrade in the library, and now we can have it.
So now we can check those tablets. We can also just fight Ganon with this. Yep, see, that made me nervous. There it is. He fixes it.
Swords in library for when you have really unruly customers.
Alright, Purple Chest Man, what do you have for us today? Another big 20!
Give a round of applause for that big 20, folks.
Alright, so we're gonna hop down and flute right back up.
Muscle memory, curse you.
I bet what happened was he was thinking about the Book of Medora, and then I forgot he also had Titan's Mitts.
It's like, oh, right, I can do this the easy way and also check out Meyer. And even, well, we can't really do much, we can't finish Meyer without the Cane of Samaria. But we can at least check out what's in the hut here and get a key to Dark Palace that we don't need, and the big key to Swamp Palace. The big key is not really needed for Swamp Palace, as it just unlocks the chest where the hookshot normally is, which we already have. But it's a good thing to have nonetheless. We don't have to go back for it later.
Yeah, there are several dungeons that don't require the big keys. Swamp Palace is one of them, and did we just find the small key for that?
I believe we did.
Oof, that's the hardest key to find. There is one Swamp Palace key somewhere in the world, and that gives you access to the rest of the dungeon. Back to what I was saying. So several dungeons don't require the big key. We can pretty much skip most of Swamp Palace without the big key. If you can do the bomb jump, you can skip most of Ice Palace. Skullwoods does not require its big key. There are just a lot of dungeons where the big key is optional.
Alright, we just found the hint that told us where the Ganon's Tower big key is, which we've already found. But it's good to know that it was exactly where we found it. As nonsensical as that sounds.
No duping today. Nice little rupee hoard. Not really good for anything at this point.
Yeah, we've pretty much spent all the cash that we were going to be spending in this seed, unless you want to stock up on potions. And even then, we are almost at get enough money to buy whatever we want to, when we want to.
Yeah, until they find a tempered sword or find a half magic, the Trinex fight always makes me nervous without some sort of magic backup.
Pretty much. We still need that ice rod. So in terms of item go mode, we just need the Cane of Samaria and the ice rod, and possibly the silver arrows would be nice, but not 100% required. But in terms of keys, we still got a few. We still need a few more Turtle Rock keys. We are pretty much good for keys other than that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, the problem is that the ice rod can be literally anywhere except inside of Ganon's tower. So we're not really sure where it could be. Well, no, that's a lie. It can be inside of Ganon's tower since TR is a pendant.
That is correct. We got Pendant Turtle Rock, which means that the ice rod could be at the top of Ganon's tower, requiring you to climb all the way up there, and then go right back into Turtle Rock.
Oof, that is painful.
Thankfully, it's also hypotheticals, but we are on the Landmoles fights. They're missing a few fire rod shots, but if we still get one of the big worms down, it should be able to finish off the other two, no problem.
And there, down goes Landmola, getting a nice spicy barbacoa burrito.
And that's another crystal down. So, we just have finished Desert Palace. From there, we can go. Let's see, where would you go next? Would you go to finish off Skullwoods or start investigating Swamp Palace for more items?
I mean, I would just head on over to Swamp Palace. That's going to be the item dense location for now. But Perd's got other plans. Perd's got better plans.
He's gonna go play checkers with Agina inside the checkerboard cave. But we only have his prize money in there, so no checker games today. So we are still in the light world. Oh, has he not even checked Agina yet? Ooh, I guess he got all of the stuff that he wanted to early from that. This is a bit more efficient routing since we're on our way out anyway, but it's not that big of a time save, to be honest.
Yeah, but Schwartz did check it, and I believe it was just a big 20.
And so it is.
So from here, the most item-dense location is Swamp House, and with both the big key and the small key, we can full clear it. Not very quickly, but we can full clear it.
Haven't found one of those useful hints that tell you what's on the left side, but we're not guaranteed to have that kind of hint in the first place. But whenever you do find one, it's always very good to have, just so you can have that long and hard section. Well, not really hard, but it's long and it's out of the way. Whereas we could just go straight towards the back.
It's long, arduous, monotonous, boring, and you always do all that work to find a compass and a map. Looks like Perd wants to check out this Book of Medora first.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess this is a good play because you can get this out of the way now, and just because going to here when you're going to Meyer is kind of out of the way. But we find 10 arrows. We're going to call it day. We're going to leave the roast buzzard aside, and we're going to head back towards, I'm guessing, the swamp area.
Yeah, swamp definitely. And then, you know, he has the fire rod. He has one small key. He might just go to Ice Palace right afterwards.
It is right next door, and we do have what we need for it. Even got Bombas to make it even easier if you so desire.
Now, the one caveat being is that if there is a progression item in the big chest, we're going to be in a corner because nobody ever wants to have to double dip Ice Palace.
The curse of the slippy slidey ice worlds.
Now, to counterbalance that, there are 3 hints inside of the Ice Palace.
We've got another hint right here in that. We already know that. Thank you, game. Sometimes you just get those journal entries.
Now, technically, we had access to that one since we had Dark World access. Even before you get the mirror, you can just walk on over through the dry riverbed to check out that hint.
It's not very efficient, but you can do it. Yes.
Well, it would have been more efficient than doing the purple chest route itself.
Yeah, I guess hindsight is 20/20 in that regard. That's a nice hammer dash there. It managed to just dash away straight through those skulls.
Yeah, and it's actually really easy to get hit by the minions in there, and so it always feels good to get through that with no problems.
Hey, we found the bombs that the one hint was telling us about. Joy.
Thanks, hint tile. Alright, so kind of the meta here is that you can either do the West Wing of Swamp now, or do it after you kill Argus. What do you think Perd's gonna do?
Personally, I like doing it first, just in case there, because having the retread that I always feel worse having to retread that first section and there turn out to be nothing there, rather than just doing it and having nothing turn out to be there. The odds of getting something out of the left wing is Unlikely, but still possible. If you want to, or well, now I'm starting to double guess myself.
Yeah, it's two chests, two out of the way chests. But if there's something there, you want to get it no matter what.
There's about 3 chests in the lead up to Argus. So, I mean, you're be trading 3 chests for 2 if you just decide to go mode it. And it's not that much of an increase in odds.
Yeah, one of the developers for this game, and actually a top-tier racer, Christos Owens, says he has seen more races lost by skipping West Wing than by taking the time to do it.
I'd believe that, although it'd be interesting to see the stats on that.
Oof, that'd be a lot of hours, or man-hours, to figure that one out.
Which is why I'm not gonna do it myself.
Which is why no one has done it.
Pretty much, yes. Alright, but we're gonna see what's in that left side very shortly. We are going back up to the top floor. We're gonna be getting this chest here and hookshotting over to the other one. Now, chat brings up a good question there. Who do you think is in the lead right now? Because we can't see iamtheschwarz.
Well, clearly first place is ahead right now. So I'm going to say whoever's in first place is in the lead. I'll just put that one out there.
I mean, if you were ideally routing this and had all the foreknowledge of where everything is, you would have found that Fire Rod and Titan's bits earlier. So, but how much? The question is, how much of a lead would that have given Schwarz if he had checked those items first?
Actually, we do know that that Schwartz has done the Village of Outcasts. That was that 2-second loop we kept getting earlier, and so I think he did do it way before Perd did.
Yeah, that is correct. So, but I'm not sure how much of a routing time save that would be.
I'm not sure it would be. What it really depends on is how quick Schwartz found the bow underneath with the hobo.
Oh, that's right. That is one of those one-offs that you have to just check once in a while.
And a nice little tempered sword with the shovel.
So that gives us a sword and a shovel. Does that make us Shovel Knight?
You know, I think it 100% does.
For chivalry and eyeball stabbing.
Alright, so we got Tempered Sword plus Fire Rod. We should be able to get a really quick kill on Argus here.
This isn't Silver Arrow's levels of quick kill, but I mean, Fire Rod and the Tempered Sword can finish it off almost just as quickly.
Well, in some cases, if you're really, really good with the Fire Rod, if you miss that silver shot, you can be quicker with the Fire Rod.
That is right, but the Tempered Sword will make quick work of these Argus puffs. So don't even have to worry about switching to the hammer to do that. We've got Tempered Sword damage from the Tempered Sword itself.
Boom, there it is. All for a little bit of couch cash.
In this case, there it's more like the cash you find behind in your couch cushions.
Chad is asking for a shovel to magic powder to mushroom to ice rod, and if that is the most arduous, time-wasting piece of routing I've ever heard of.
I did once decide to whip up with some help with a friend to whip up the most ridiculous fetch quest chain ever.
How did that work?
It took 3 hours to complete by actual runners. Basically, when you got to Ganon's Tower, you're about halfway done.
Oh, that I have so many questions.
I'll save it for later. Here, let's focus on this run for right now. We are picking up the Pyramid Fairy Bomb. We do have both of the red crystals now, so we are have to make some big explosions.
I believe this is the first time we've gotten to check out the pyramid itself. So there could be some important stuff here we had access to for quite a while.
Some of those stuff that is hidden in plain sight can be the trickiest.
Small key?
Small key is important. We don't know what it is, but...
TR, maybe?
We do now.
Gas tower.
Not useful. Next. Well, slightly useful. I'll take that back.
No, we have the one that was required. Really what we're looking for now is TR small keys. Speaking of TR, there's the big key.
Well, we definitely need that. So, in terms of keys, we just need 2 or possibly 3 Turtle Rock keys, or small keys. We need the... Well, we can... Logic requires you to have 2 Ice Palace keys, but we haven't found those yet. I'm probably going to be going Skullwoods or Ice Palace. That's the question. We've already checked out most of Skullwoods. So we are. Looks like he's going to be turning in that shovel and seeing what's... Or am I going crazy?
No, that's definitely the shovel. Ooh, that's a nice shovel.
That is a very nice shovel. That'll make the Ganon fight infinitely easier.
Yeah, tempered plus silvers, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright, so we're finally getting to Skull Woods. We have had access to Skull Woods for quite a while, or at least as far as the seed plant. It gave you the fire rod in the chest game, and that's the only thing you really needed to get through here.
Pretty much. We cleared most of it earlier, but all the time that we've lost is just this trek towards the boss cave, and that's about it. And that's not the longest trek in the world, to be honest. And while we're out here, after we finish smacking down Mothula, we might be getting... Oh, is that... Do I see what I think I see?
Is that iamtheschwarz? Back from the dead.
He lives! Or does he?
I think you spoke too soon. Commentary curse! Burn the witch!
Burn him! But not me, the other one.
Alright, so if Schwartz is back, our tracker will need some help whenever we get a look at the screen. So Chad, if you'll help out with that, we'll really appreciate that.
We do know that he's in Misery Mire, but we don't know if he has the Cane of Samaria. So I don't know if that implies he's ahead or if he's just going to be partially dipping Mire.
Schrodinger's Mire. Can we finish it or can we not?
But in the meantime, we get to look at a cool frog with a sword.
And since he has a tempered, we can probably guess he's also been inside a Swamp Palace.
Most likely, yes. And speaking of tempered sword, the tempered sword made mincemeat out of Mothula there. We got another 20 bucks.
We still got to check out this last chest inside of the back of the back of Skull Woods. Could be nothing, or could be the last piece of the puzzle.
We're here already. Might as well go check. We see that Misery Mire is a crystal, I believe. Which would leave... Let's see, we saw that Turtle Rock was the green pendant. So that would leave pendants at Ice Palace and Thieves Town. That's about it.
And there's another big 20. So here's the question. Are we going to head for Mire as soon as we find that Samaria, or what's the plan?
If it were up to me, well, we're going to get a ped check right now is what we're going to get since we're right here.
Come on.
It's a red meringue.
We're leaving the good boomerang behind. How sad.
Lissai.
And now we're getting our making our way over to Ice Palace.
We've still got plenty of loot inside of there, so we need to go clear that out. But if there's nothing inside, we're gonna have to make that dip into either Mire or into Mire, and hopefully hope that there's a vanilla cane inside.
Now it needs to be pointed out that we can clear everything inside of here, except the big chest. We do not have. We do not have the big key to Ice Palace.
That is correct there. We could have a forced double dip of Ice Palace, and that would be awful.
Now, I didn't quite catch what that hint said. It said that what was fire-locked in Mire, but what was fire-locked?
It said a Ganon's key and some cash, I believe.
No, we don't need either of those. We're good for keys. Well, we're good for keys if we don't have to explore.
But hey, we found some blue mail.
1 hour, 25
vanilla
minutes
blue mail.
in. Yeah, that's French vanilla.
The one thing about finding that tempered sword is now we can make mincemeat out of these pen gators, because I know that they are a pain to take out otherwise.
Yeah, even with a hook shot, if you get knocked out of position, you're going to be in for a world of hurt.
They got teeth, boys, and they know how to use them.
Oh, now we get the hint for the West Wing.
Sometimes it's just like that, but what can you do?
Sometime life be like that.
These berries do not want to behave. Now, the trick is that, even though we have the blue mail, the stuff in here does deal decent damage, and Ice Palace is known for sapping your hearts at the most inconvenient of times.
Yeah, Ice Palace is a mean customer.
All right, we got that bomb jump set up there. We don't have to do that double loop and extra key required in Ice Palace.
If you're just getting started for a Link to the Past randomizer, the Ice Palace bomb jump that Purge just did, that is single-handedly one of the biggest time saves you can have in the game.
It cuts out an entire key or two and an entire lap around the lower halves of Ice Palace.
Yep, or if you're in go mode, you can just go straight to Cold Stare after that.
Pretty much, yeah. I've never quite understood that. How is whacking a skeleton with another skull make it fall apart like that? Is it so weak that you can just beat it with its own skull?
According to the D&D monster manual, skeletons are only weak to blunt damage, so it makes sense to me.
Yeah, checks out. I'll take it.
It's even in the rule book and everything.
I mean, the bombs I can understand. And that's another Misery Mire key, but we still are missing those Turtle Rock keys. We need at least 2, preferably 3. We've got plenty of Mire keys, and we've got plenty of Ganon's Tower keys. We've got both Castle Tower keys. So we just need those 2 or 3 keys for Turtle Rock. We need that Ice Rod, and then we'll be pretty much in go mode.
At this point,
oh, and the Cane of Samaria, too.
And the Cane of Samaria. At this point, we have not found any Turtle Rock keys. I'm willing to bet that 1 or 2 of them are going to be inside of Ganon's Tower.
Ooh, that would be trolly, but that may be the case. We'll have to go see.
All right, Ice-T making an appearance. It gives us a compass to a dungeon we have already completed.
Not all that useful there. We do have one more hint at the top of this room, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if we've checked it out yet.
We have not, but I don't think we're going to get to spot it. He used the key shortcut to skip going down here in the first place.
That's right, and can't check out that chest. So onward to Cold Stare we go.
We got about half our magic left, so we'll have about 3/4 of the way with these pots. So he'll probably use bombos and then try to maximize his fire rod usage.
Should be able to get a few shots out of it with that. No half magic, unfortunately, but you can still get what, 4 or 5 shots, something like that.
At least 5, I think. Well, after the bombos, we'll get 4.
Oh, but we've got them corner locked. Oh, but they escape, unfortunately. But got some good slashes on them anyway.
Yep, Cold Stare, he's a wily one. He's easy. It's easy for him to get away from you.
Yep. Yeah. Pretend it's a fighting game. Get Cold Stare corner trapped and just pressure him to no kingdom come. So we don't find any progression in ice, so we are going to have to go to Mire to find what we want. Or else it's somewhere we haven't checked yet. I don't believe there's many overworld locations that we've left behind. I think we've already checked the Ether Tablet, have we?
We have not checked the Ether. We've checked Bombos. And now that I'm thinking about it, we have not been able to check Dark Death Mountain yet. This is the first time we've come back since finding Titan's Mitts.
You're correct. So we still have Hookshot Cave to check out as well as Super Bunny Cave and Spike Cave. So let's see here. That's 4, 5, 6, 7 chests that we can get right now. Versus the how many items are in Misery and Mire? There are in Vanilla. There are 2 items and 3 keys. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8 items at the very least.
Yes. Maybe did you account for the item on Vitreous? Because we can't get to that without Samaria.
Oh right. Yeah, you're correct. I didn't count that one in, but if we had Samaria, there'd be one in there. But either way, possibly risking double dipping Mire when you could possibly find the Cane of Samaria in here in the first place is not all that appealing. So Super Bunny Cave doesn't have anything for us today. So onward to Hookshot Cave we go, and then Spike Cave last, and from then, if there's nothing in there, we're probably going to be fluting over to the Mire zone.
Hookshot Cave is one of my favorite item dense locations. Like, even if I'm only looking for one item, this is the place that I feel good. Like, there's got to be something in here.
You can just Spider-Man all over the place.
But right after I said that, we have not found anything.
We still don't have that Harris small key to check out what's inside the basement. So, yeah, pretty much we can check out Spike Cave and this tablet here. And that's about it for Dark Death Mountain.
Ooh, that basement is coming back to haunt us. I completely forgot about it.
Ether Tablet has zilch, just some bombs. So
Oof.
give us back the bombs we used to make it explode. So in terms of that Ice Rod or Samaria, it's Spike Cave or bust before going into Mire itself. Now we have to rely. we can try and hookshot our way through most of this, but we're gonna have to get that cape to get the last bit of it. We always usually want to save the cape for last because it's a lot easier to refill hearts than it is to refill magic.
And we find 300 rupees.
300 rupees that we have no place to spend, except for potions, I guess.
Yep, that's not a good find. We want progression. We're tired of these rupees.
And thank you, Omega Full, for the donations. Always appreciated.
Speed Gaming appreciates your cheers.
Yay.
Alright, opening up Meyer. We'll see what, if anything, is in here. Because it doesn't have to be... Well, I don't know. Where else could Samaria be if it's not in here?
I am a bit struggling to figure that out myself. We've pretty much checked all of the random one-off locations that we are capable of going right now. We don't even have the powder to check out Magic Bat. Or the mushroom to fake powder our way through.
Yeah, so probably there is something in here. If it's the powder or the mushroom, Samaria doesn't have to be in here, but more than likely, we're going to find our progression.
Yeah, I believe we saw prdwong check Catfish earlier, chat, so all it had was a bottle, so no luck there.
Part of remembering that there is nothing fire-locked that we need, so we're just going to go ahead and skip that.
That's right, we have the big key, so we can check the right-hand side now when we feel like it, and looks like we're heading in that direction. Although we may not check that big chest first, but looks like we will anyway, because we can.
Yeah, no matter what, it's going to take a minute to get over there, so do it first, do it last, doesn't really matter.
Just 10 bombs in the chest, and I think we have the crystal switch set right to get this chest, which has the cane in it!
Ooh, another French vanilla item.
Just about one... and the butter sword as well. Now we are fully equipped, except for that ice rod.
Yep, and as we discussed earlier, in Key Sanity, in all dungeon, Ice Rod can be literally anywhere except on Drynex. There are 215 valid locations for that Ice Rod to be in.
Yep, you're pretty much correct there. So the odds are becoming increasingly more likely that we're going to find them inside of Ganon's Tower, and I'm going to have to backtrack our way to Turtle Rock. Might be required double dip there, but we might get lucky and have a vanilla ice rod, or not a vanilla ice rod. We may have an ice rod inside of Turtle Rock to make things easier. Not the thing that you really want to find, because no one likes dipping Turtle Rock with that uncertainty on their mind.
Yeah, when you have Ganon's Tower looming over you, I kind of feel like the play is to go to Ganon's Tower and not go into TR until you know what's in there.
Pretty much. Now, from the brief glimpses that we saw at Schwarz's screen, we know that he was in Meyer at some point before now. So he's most likely found the Cane of Samaria and that, well, extra sword that early there. But the question is, when did he do it, and where did he go from there?
Alright, time for a vitreous fight. Silvers makes this joke, or makes this boss a joke.
It makes this joke a boss, and this boss a dead.
Ooh, you know what? Chat's pointing out Mimic Cave. We got a hint about Mimic Cave. There's a unique item in there.
So let's see. That could still be Canberna. That could be red meringue.
Well, it's not the
Mushroom
red meringue. That's on the
powder.
pedestal.
Or no, oh, we already got the blue meringue. So let me, yeah, this can't be the red meringue. So it could be the ice rod. It could be the Canberna, mushroom, and powder. So that's a 1 in 4 chance of something being useful inside a Mimic Cave.
Yep, the hint could be a red herring, or it could have been a really nice hint telling you to go to Mimic Cave. It's one of those things that, if it is the ice rod, then you're gonna celebrate. If it's not the ice rod, you're gonna be really mad about that.
Thankfully, if you hadn't found the ice rod yet, you're going to be wanting to check the Mimic Cave anyway, so it's not something you can really afford to leave behind, but even so.
Now, here's my next question. Can we get to Mimic Cave with only 2 small keys? I think so.
I'm trying to remember its layout into the head. You need the 1 key to get past the Chain Chomp room, and then you need another key to get to the... I'm trying to remember. You need what you can... You don't have to use the chest that is... Or the door that leads to the vanilla key chest, a big key chest.
Yeah, so you can steal that key. I think we can make it at least to Mimic Cave with only 2 keys. We cannot get the Trinex, but we can at least get to Mimic Cave.
That's right. 2 keys will get you to the laser bridge. 3 will get you to Trinex. Just remember that last key door was at the back of that little switch maze thingy. Well, that's useful. We got just that the Sasha only has some bombs on him today. So often that Sasha has got something critical stashed in his pockets, but not today. Because, well, one, we know that it can't be the ice rod because you need the ice rod to get the green pendant, which is in Turtle Rock in the first place. Oh, and the mushroom. Oh, that is deceptive.
But that's one item. That's one unique item that cannot be inside the Mimic Cave. Now, I'm trying to remember, and I really don't recall. Do shields get named in hints, or do they count for the unique item pool?
I don't think progressive items count as unique items, to be honest, because as far as the game is concerned, there are multiple copies, and whenever you get one, it'll just bump you up a level. So yeah, like as far as the game is concerned, oh, there's the powder. Interesting.
Oh no.
So we've got a 50-50 shot of the Mimic Cave holding the ice rod.
The item is gonna be blue. We know that. We just don't know which blue item. Oof, isn't this a mess? Could have been any 4 items, now it can be any 2 items. We might have to go check the fetch quest now. If it is the Canberna inside of Mimic Cave.
Now I feel like we're playing Deal or No Deal or something. Do you take your mushroom and leave, or do you go straight to... Oh, did we use our keys already? I could have sworn that we could have gotten farther, but we're just ditching Turtle Rock.
I have a confusion. I thought we could get to... Huh.
Oh, I see what we're doing there. We just remembered that Ganon's Tower has a lot more chests in it, and maybe saving if we don't find another key. Well, I don't know, but well, odds are there's more chests. Well, we know there's more chests in Ganon's Tower than there is in Turtle Rock, and we can open it because we have the crystals. We may just maybe making the safer bet rather than journeying that much further.
Yeah, there are 27 chests inside of Ganon's Tower.
There's 22 on the first floor, and there's definitely the compass says we have 27 item locations.
Oh, cool. I did not even think about that.
Unfortunately, we cannot play the big key guessing game because we already have it in our pockets. And if we were to play the big key guessing game, we'd have to guess between 1 and 216 anyway. And we would also know the answer already, so. It always amuses me that when you throw a bomb on a conveyor belt and it explodes, the explosion continues along the conveyor belt as well. But there are our 2 Turtle Rock small keys, so now we can full clear Turtle Rock at our leisure once we find what we will find or not.
I think at this point, grab this key and then go do TR. Because if you finish the tower, then you're going to end up by the castle.
Got the mirror shield on the torch, but doesn't opt to get it. It's not terribly useful unless you really don't like doing Laser Bridge the skip way. But with those 2 Turtle Rock keys there, we know that Turtle Rock was not completable until you go into Ganon's Tower. You cannot get to Trinex unless you have 3 keys at the very least. Oh, we've got the Cane of Burna in Ganon's Tower.
So I believe we do have a certain blue item sitting inside of Mimic Cave.
So, yeah, we have the Ice Rod inside of Mimic Cave. All other options have been exhausted. And now we have the keys to finish out the place. And we can essentially go mode the rest of Turtle Rock, except for the one place we absolutely know for a fact has the Ice Rod.
So, what are you thinking? We're 10 minutes, 15 minutes from finishing the seed?
Now, let's see. We have to go mode the rest of Turtle Rock there. Then we just do the whole, go up the rest of the Ganon's Tower, and then mirror over to Castle Tower, or mirror back to Castle Tower, finish that out, and then take the portal back to Ganon. I'm not sure how much time that would be.
I forgot about Aghanim 1, so maybe closer to 20 minutes.
So just a few minutes north of the 2-hour mark. That's not bad for an all-dungeon seed by any stretch of the imagination.
All-dungeon key sanity.
That's true as well. Now the question, another question that chat brought up there is: does half magic count as a unique item?
Are we about to get played?
It does.
Oh no. Half magic does count as a unique item. We forgot about that. Oof, Schwarz coming back. Just blazing through Ganon's Tower.
He's still searching the room, so he's still looking for something. I'm not sure exactly what. But there is the Ice Rod, just as we predicted.
Whew, that was nerve-wracking. What if that had been the half magic? That would have been, ooh, all sorts of ugly. Alright, so this kind of begs the question, what's Schwarz looking for? What's he doing in Ganon's Tower?
Hopefully we can get another shot of this tracker when he can get a chance, but I'm not exactly sure. Given that he can't be the Ganon's Tower Big Key, we found that way early on. The question: has he found the Ice Rod yet or not?
Yeah, that really depends on. Is did he find that hint? Where was that hint? Was that the one in Eastern Palace?
It was pretty early on, I'll tell you that, but I can't remember exactly where it was. I don't. Judging from what I'm seeing in chat, he does not have the ice rod just yet. Looking at his tracker from his stream.
Yikes! That's going to be a bit unfortunate.
But we don't know how far he's gone into Turtle Rock just as of yet, though. But we know what is going to be happening now inside of Turtle Rock is that we are taking down Trinex with a butter sword, making, I want to say sushi, but these aren't fishes.
Close enough.
Well, I guess you could say we're cutting through these heads like butter, but that seems a bit too easy to me.
Kind of a low-hanging fruit there.
Alright, but Trinex goes down. We get a small key to Hera, which we know we don't need.
Quick, Purd! Go check out the basement, it's on the way! We've
Ganon's hiding in the basement, don't you know that?
He's hiding in a small chest in the basement of Hera. At this point, it's probably just a heart container piece. Or a last bottle.
Could be.
Either way, it does not matter.
Don't think it's a bottle, because I think we saw that I Am the Schwarz has 4 bottles. Not that it really matters at this point, but even so.
Oh, yep, look at that.
Alright, so we've got prdwong inside the tower ascent to towards Ganon 2. This is pretty much a race between how fast can you climb the tower and how much little damage can you take doing it.
Because does Purd have any safeties? He has the powder and the net, but does he have any blue potions on him?
Well, he's feeling confident enough there. He's opted to just skip that fairy.
Which, you know, with the butter sword and blue mail, you're not going to be scared of much.
I mean, things can beat up on you hard, but making use of that invulnerability to get through the cannon room just fine. A lot of runners take that fall intentionally just to make that a little bit easier and avoid any trolliness on that part.
Exactly. And really the most damage that's going to come from the gauntlets is the ice rooms at the end of the first half.
Because everyone loves ice.
Ice physics.
I'm reminded of that one brawl in the family about it's look a lot like Ice Worlds.
Those BMOs can be the most annoying sentries for these rooms.
I swear they turn faster, but I can't. But they actually don't. It's just that you can move so much slower, so they just turn faster in relation to how fast you can actually move.
Especially on ice. Alright, time to start some land mo business. Get to the first 2 and fine. Last one's being kind of sneaky.
But that last land mole got arrowed.
Then it's time for some family-friendly Samaria strats.
No matter how many times I see that, it still looks cool.
Yeah, this next room is the one that takes a little bit of practice to get right consistently.
And found some guards, found out the danger of falling down a bottomless pit.
Yeah, I'm sure OSHA would have some complaints about the design of Ganon's tower.
Pretty much, but I believe Ganon has the philosophy of sacrificing minions. Is there anything it can't do?
Quite a few things, I imagine, but we won't tell him. Alright, we'll pick up some fairies, pick up some full magic, or maybe we won't pick up some fairies. Forget that.
We will take down some big bugs, though. All right, here, but we've got the Aga 2 fight going on right now. prdwong is going in. We got a first hit on there. It looks like we got a little bit of action from iamtheschwarz there. Look, it appears that they are going back up Death Mountain.
They found the red mail somewhere as well.
Interesting. See how long this lasts.
I think he's here to stay.
But we've got Aga 2 down for prdwong, so we are in the victory lap right now. We just have got Aga 1 to go, and then back to the Ganon fight. It looks like iamtheschwarz is yet to finish Turtle Rock. So this could be a big, well, a significant lead for prdwong.
Right, if Schwarz didn't find the Ice Rod hints, and that is what he's missing, then that's quite a bit of time we lost. If he completed Ganon's Tower all the way through, then well, he might have already done Aghanim too.
It's entirely possible. But when it comes down to dueling dungeons, I believe Castle Tower's got the advantage over Turtle Rock in terms of just go-boating the thing.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, he just opened up Turtle Rock, it looks like?
Yeah, hasn't even touched it, so we don't know for sure, but if Schwarz went ahead and did Aghanims 1 and 2, this could be a little bit close, depending on if there's any unfortunate falls.
Now we're getting a little bit low on health, but it should not be all that much harder to the top of the tower.
We should make it there without dying. It could happen, but I think Perd is safe.
Pretty much. I find it unlikely that he would be able to finish all of Turtle Rock before prdwong finishes the rest of Castle Tower.
That's true. If he still doesn't know he has to go straight to Mimic Cave, then he's checking all the chests.
Pretty much, yes. It'll be a full clear of Turtle Rock in that case. It will let him the Ice Rod, which he'll be very relieved to find, but even with that...
At that point, when you're struggling to find Ice Rod, you just have to hope in your heart of hearts that your opponent has the same struggle. But in these 1v1s, you always assume that your opponent took the optimal route.
But meanwhile, we've got prdwong taking on Aga 1 here, the last boss required for this all-dungeon seed. That is the first hit out of the way.
We'll see how many blue balls we get here.
Now that's one for sure. That's 2 in a row. Aghanim is feeling angry today. Three blue balls in a row. Aghanim, are you not telling us something?
Now, the one saving grace here is the way the RNG works in the randomizer is that the first time you do a boss, all the RNG is going to be standard. And then for every subsequent time, it'll redo the RNG, but it'll be the same every time between all the racers. Chat asking if you can do Ganon before Aga 1. You cannot. You must finish all of the other bosses, including Aga 1 and Aga 2, before you'll be allowed to do damage to Ganon.
Yeah, you can go find Ganon, but he'll go like, "Fool, I'm invincible, don't you know that? Go back out there and defeat my minions, because your suffering amuses me." Now, one thing about doing Aga 1 last is that doing Aga 1 there will refill your hearts and magics, as you have just seen. So now it is time for the Big Pig.
Yeah, that's really convenient. You're getting that full heal.
Gasp. Ganon is using the CDI quote, "He must die even harder than before."
Get him!
And we got a brief glimpse of Schwartz's screen there. Looks like he's almost at Ice Rod, or to the Ice Rod right now. Yes, we have iamtheschwarz inside of Mimic Cave. But we've got prdwong in the middle of the Ganon fight right now. Only one more stomp left on Phase 3, and we are going to Phase 4.
He's had a perfect fight so far, not a single hit.
Doesn't get the torch glitch there, but it shouldn't make much of a difference, as we've already stuck the pig twice already. And this should be the last shot. The Ganon goes down, and we are at the fanfare, folks.
One job left to do. All he's got to do is not fall in.
And prdwong, as far as we can tell from this stream, seems to have finished first. We are a little bit unclear on the state of where iamtheschwarz exactly is, but it's a fairly safe bet, I believe, at this point.
Just a few minutes behind, but I'm fairly certain Perd is ahead as well.
So prdwong finishes with an unofficial time of 2:01:56.
We'll see if we can grab him for an interview.
Hello, prdwong. How are you doing today?
Okay, I guess. I'm wondering if I won.
We're wondering if you won as well.
We are currently seeing a bit of a few shots here and there from iamtheschwarz's stream. As far as we can tell, he's still in Turtle Rock at the moment, but we don't have an exact note of when. We're assuming that it's in sync with your stream right now, but we're not 100% sure.
Yeah, I felt like I basically checked everywhere, so I wasn't really feeling so happy about the seed.
Yeah, it was not a kind seed. It made you check almost every chest in the game.
Yeah, I felt like I routed it okay for checking everything, but definitely never feels good to be checking everything. It looks like I skipped one chest in pod, I guess. That might have been problematic.
Yeah, didn't seem to bite you all that much in the back end. We were sort of in the interesting shot of knowing where you are at pretty much all the time, but having no clue where Schwarz was for the most part. But I mean, there's a few things that could have been, well, in hindsight, could have been routed easier there, but there's no way of knowing this kind of thing early on.
Yeah, I think near the end I was most worried about Kane, because basically I took a long time looking for Kane and put off Mire until the very end. So I could easily see someone dipping into Mire earlier on because it's got a bunch of chests in there, and then they would have found Kane and then maybe been able to skip a bunch of checks. So yeah, I wasn't really feeling so happy.
We did not. From what little we could piece together, it looked like Schwartz did check Meyer earlier than you, but he was I don't know where he did not have the ice rod for the longest time until you were pretty much finished with the game.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the way the seed played out. You had to find ice rod basically last because you go into Ganon's tower to find the Turtle Rock keys in order to get there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, having sort of ice rod in a required Turtle Rock there, and Kane inside required Meyer. That's just two things you don't want to have to rely on unless you can absolutely help it.
Yeah. I mean, the hint helped out a lot, saying that there was something unique in Mimic Cave. In hindsight, I don't think I should have gone into Turtle Rock, but I think I didn't realize I only had one small key at the time, and I thought I could make it to Mimic Cave. But finding what did I find there? Finding the mushroom and the powder, I think helped out in the end, because then I just went through a little bit of the basement. And I was like, come on, what other unique items could there be? So I just made a beeline back for Mimic Cave once I picked up the small keys.
The only thing you didn't have was half magic, and we're not even sure that counts as a unique item or not.
I believe it does, but I had not considered that at the time as well.
Well, it certainly paid off for you there because the ice rod was indeed in Mimic Cave. So, and there was honestly running out of places where it could have been.
Yeah, so I guess worst case scenario was half magic in Mimic Cave and then ice rod a little bit further in GT.
It looks, I mean, that was a good gamble on you. I mean, it was a 50-50 there because you got to skip the rest of Ganon's tower there. It's pretty likely, although we didn't get to see it, that Schwartz full cleared the rest of Ganon's tower before going back over to Turtle Rock.
Oh, man.
So, what are your other thoughts on the of the routing of the seed? Was it any interesting choices you had to make?
Mostly not. I did feel like I was doing small checks, like one-offs here and there, which did not feel so great. Like maybe I could have chained them more. And then I'm still not sure about my routing in pod. Like I did the hammer jump, and then at the end I was like, what do I do now? I guess I should have put it off until later to check the other chests first. But I just really wanted to find my boots.
Ideally, I guess you could have mirrored back to the front of pod after getting the dark maze and saving a key that way. Because I'm vaguely remembering you. I had
no more potions, and I didn't have the bow, so I would have wasted a key that way.
Yep,
it was all tough.
You don't really have to. Can't really rely expecting you're gonna have to potion glitch twice going through that room.
Yeah, I guess I could have bought 2 potions at the time, but I was already low.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah, and then I already knew I needed to find money to pay Kiki as well, and did the arrow game and all that. I don't know. I guess it worked out in the end, assuming I won. So can't complain.
Well, yeah,
much.
It worked out in the end there, and I think you did well regardless. And wishing that I could hear Schwartz's side of the story, given that we weren't able to watch for a majority of the race there. But you gave us a good show regardless.
All right, yeah. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and thanks guys for doing the commentary and the trackers and everything.
Oh, yeah,
no problem.
Thanks for joining us.
That puts you up 5-4 in this in your pool there, and you are currently in the lead for second place, right behind, and with Salty Fry being first place, having almost finished all of their group matches entirely.
Yep, I kind of needed these wins, so glad it worked out that way.
Any thoughts on the rest of the groups and any other runners you're excited to face?
I think a lot of the runners have a chance. I'm not looking so much as how many wins I have, but how many losses I have, which puts a cap on what my max result could be at the end. And by that metric, I am not in very hot shape. So it puts me in the position where I have to hope that other people start losing some of their races, which is not that great. But it's okay. I have no expectations, so I'm just gonna play out my races and see how things shake out.
Yeah, definitely. But for what it's worth, this was a great race. Even though we could only see you, it was very fun to see you to commentate.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Getting some notes here that I Am the Schwarz doesn't really have the ability to do an interview right now, but is giving us the message that one of the main factors into this race's outcome was that he couldn't find the Turtle Rock Big Key, which was at Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is always in the back of my mind when doing the all dungeon seed, because you don't really. Mostly you don't really care whether it's crystal or whatever, but at some point I remember when I was switching items, I just checked to see what my crystals were, and I saw that I already had 2 red crystals, so I don't even know what dungeons they were. But then I was like, okay, I gotta check Pyramid Fairy pretty soon.
Yeah, Key Sanity is a very interesting mode there because it adds a lot more of things you have to keep in mind the entire way through. All right, but I think we're getting closer to the end of our commentary for this race here. Anything else anyone would like to add before we wrap things up?
I just want to give a big ol' shout out to our tracker today, MagicJade47, keeping us honest, keeping us on track. We could not do this without you.
And of course, thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting us. Thank you to our restreamers for doing all the behind-the-scenes work, and thank you and a follow to I Am the Schwarz and prdwong for giving us this entertaining race for tonight. But that is pretty much going to do it there. Again, I am Phantom Fox. I've been joined by Forgotten Toupee, and I believe we've got a little bit more rando coming up along the way. Let me just pull things up here. All right, we on Speed Gaming 4. We started at 9 o'clock there, so we've got an all dungeons seed, just standard, Uncle Assured, but it should be wrapping up shortly if it hasn't already, with Ultima versus Dante, and at also going on Speed Gaming 2 is also an all dungeons randomized normal seed between Aaron, Dobie, and In the Name of DT.
On Speed Gaming 5, we're going to have Sea Falcon versus Jay Misher doing an all dungeon, and then at 11:30 we're going to have Brewers fan JP and Jet doing a Uncle Assured open Randomizer.
And that'll be right here on Speed Gaming 3. But I believe that is going to be do it for tonight there. Thank you all to everyone for joining us there. Again, I am Phantom Fox, and I've been joined by Forgotten Toupee. So have a wonderful night, and catch us next time if you can.
GG all.